Hey guys, Eddie in here today. We're going to be releasing a bunch of ladybugs into the yard. They finally arrived, and we're going to be trying to salvage some of our cucumbers, which just got taken over by aphids and pests. And it's moving on to the, well, look at that. It's wilting all over, and if you look closely, you can just see thousands and thousands of bugs that are just covering all these. And they stop the growth, and they're blocking out the sun and the water moving up, and some of the, like, we are getting some ladybugs on here, like there's one, but they just can't compete, and some of the cucumbers are shriveling up. Most of them are dead actually, and the vine is dead. The goal is for them to not move up and destroy this entire watermelon, because you know it's some of it's still there, and maybe we can get a few cucumbers off of here, because this was a really good vine. It was really strong before they attacked it. And also we want to make sure that they don't move on. Like you can see, there's a bunch of aphids already going onto these plants. I don't know if they're the ones causing the tomato damage, but they are over there too, so we're gonna put them all over a bit. So there's a lot in here. I'm not sure how we're gonna open it. Yeah, so look at them. They're all flying around, they're crawling all over me. And I think we're just gonna leave them like this. They'll find their way. This is so cool. They're just hundreds of them. They're just crawling all over the place and slowly taking flight into the air. That's pretty cool. I wonder where they come from. Probably farmed or something. But yeah, okay. You can see they're already coming on to they're coming onto this. I don't know if there's even bugs anymore. I don't know. I think they've just wrecked everything. But they're going on the cucumber, the watermelon, and exploring around. And yeah, they're on the tomatoes. They're out here. Also, gotta show you something. Oh yeah, they're already on the peppers. Mostly we got flies. We gotta get more fly traps. It's just crazy. We got some eggplants growing. Look at them. Oh wow, there's a large like beetle on there. Some pretty big eggplants, and we got a chocolate pepper. I gotta show you, it's super cool. But yeah, we're just gonna let these guys go, fly off. They're sticking around the wood here, but we'll just let them all escape. There'll probably be a few left trying to stay down there. But yeah, we'll just let them go off on their own time, and hopefully they'll start helping out this cucumber plant. Anyways, that's not the entire video. We're gonna do some seed germination. I've already tried to germinate some papaya seeds. It didn't work. I'll show you why. I just threw them in the ground right here, like it said. I didn't rinse them off, didn't pick out the bad ones or do anything. I just threw them down right here, and I think they got scorched by the sun. It's just a bit too hot. It dried them out. It dried them out before they could germinate. So we're gonna try two different methods. Also, before we do this, just a quick update on my indoor garden. Yeah, we are growing an indoor garden. We're trying to get like all the herbs that I would ever use growing in here, just so that, like, I mean, if we ever need like a large bunch, we'll go out there. But if I'm just cooking, need like a little, like just a bit of lemongrass or some onions. We got green onions growing right here, some basil, or some mint I'm trying to propagate, some basil growing here. By the way, this is the passion fruit. This is the one I picked a few weeks ago. Completely green, completely green. The inside, we picked two, same time, pretty much the same size. Seeds weren't growing at all, a bunch of thick skin. And I think tomorrow we're gonna crack it open and compare it to the one that ripened off the vine and it just fell off. By the way, here's the chocolate pepper. It looks chocolate, it looks brown. I didn't know they even had that color of pepper. That's so cool. Here's another one that's a green one. They're really small. I'm not sure what we're gonna do. Probably just chop it up into, like, dice it and put it in a salad or something. So here's our papaya. This is a big one. It's kind of yellow, but you know, I think it's supposed to be the orange variety. These things cut so satisfying. Oh yeah, look at that. Okay, so one tip that I heard to make sure that you get the female seeds, because we want to get the fruit, so we need to get one of those, is just cut the bottom half. And apparently in the bottom half, that's where the good seeds are. So what we're gonna do is, well, we're gonna take off the bottom seeds right here. Take them all out and put them into some water. We're gonna wash them off. By the way, this fruit tastes delicious. It tastes like a cantaloupe, but sweeter, juicier, and softer. That's really good, and that's why I'm growing this. Now we're gonna take the seeds and we're gonna soak them up. And just rinse them off like that. Just give them a good wash, and then we're going to let them sit down in this water. Let's just rinse them off a bit. Let them sit down in the water. So we want to find the good seeds, the ones that will produce healthy plants, and you want the ones that sink. The ones that float are not good. There will probably be like a weaker plant, it'll be harder to germinate, and it might not be a female variety. So just let them sit, and it looks like most of them are sinking, and the ones that aren't, we're just gonna scoop off. And these you could do stuff with. You can eat them, they taste pretty good. Kind of like a spicy, like a radish or something. We wanna do this slowly so that get the good seeds. And they're pretty, you know, they're pretty much the same weight. The ones that float are only just slightly more buoyant than the ones that sink, so it's kind of hard to do this slowly. All right, we got enough of them out, so I'm just going to empty out this water. We'll take our seeds. And to dry them, you don't want to dry them in the sun, because that can, like, you know, that's what I did the first time, and that just kind of scorched them. We're just going to put them out on a paper towel, and just, we're going to leave some of them to dry overnight. Okay, so since, you know, this is an experimental farm, everything we're doing is experimental, all trying to figure out a better way to grow everything. We're going to dry these right here, and we're gonna dry them, we'll keep them overnight, and we'll try and get them the next morning. The other ones, we're going to actually try to germinate now. The first way is we're going to actually plant them, and the second way is we're gonna use a plastic bag. All right, so half of these seeds, we're just going to put them right out here on this, let's get a little bit more. Right out here on this wet paper towel. So these are the ones that haven't been dried. And we're gonna stick it into a plastic bag. And I'm sure you've seen this, in fact. You've probably done it when you were in like kindergarten or something, just as the sprouting seeds experiment. And you know, that is a good way to sprout seeds. I've done it with lots of different seeds, tomatoes, blueberries, sugar snap peas, those are the best. Just leave it like that, and the moisture being sealed in, that should give it like a good place to start sprouting. And you always want to keep things moist when you're trying to germinate them or propagate anything. So apparently papaya, like it actually like, they like the sun when they're sprouting. So I'm actually gonna leave this in the sun. Not in like direct sunlight. What we're gonna do is we're just gonna put it over here and lay it out like kind of in partial sun, partial shade. And we're just gonna see how this works. I'm just trying like a little bit of everything here just to see what we could do. So we got a bunch of potting soil here, and this is gonna help with our nursery. I've already been getting some pots filled up with soil. This is actually, we're gonna try and keep the lychee growing in there because it needs to grow some roots. It's growing like tons of leaves. It's like already a tree, but we need to grow roots. We found this bucket of broken, apparently, solar lights. Well, they're not broken at all. They totally work. And the bucket is perfect size because it's you know, kind of small. It'll be big enough to grow the lychees in. So we're gonna use this. The bucket was already leaking and cracked a bit more. I drilled some holes in it. We're just gonna patch this up with a plastic bag and some duct tape, but it's totally fine because we want the water to sink out a little bit. All right, that's good enough. The soil will pack it down. So what we're gonna use is a mixture of some of the kind of like clayish ground soil that I have in my backyard and a little bit of potting soil. We don't want to waste all this potting soil in here. We want to get some of the nutrients in the ground because they're not going to be too deep. And once they kind of grow into actual plants, we're just going to throw them back and we're going to put them in the ground and just spread them out like that. Okay, So I got another pot under here so that the water will drain. These, let's put them in like a certain part of the soil. We're not gonna put them that close. You wanna kind of spread it out just in case, you know, they actually grow. You don't want them to be that close. And we're gonna push these in. We're gonna push these pretty deep into the soil. In fact, you might wanna just put them in before and then put a whole cover layer. And these are the ones that are just straight out of the fruit. And we're just gonna leave them like that. I'm gonna soak the soil up a bit. There's some. And tomorrow we'll put in the ones that have dried. And the next day, or next week, once our bag ones have sprouted, we'll put those in and we'll see which ones grow the best and which ones propagate the fastest. All right, just watering it up a bit. Don't want to flood the whole thing, just spray down here lightly. And we want to get this all the way to the bottom of the soil so that it stays moist down there for once the roots start to form. Alright, so I'm just leaving it in a pot here next to the pineapple. Kind of indirect sunlight. We don't want it to be scorched like the other thing was. And we're leaving the pineapple right there so it gets the most sun. And it's actually doing pretty well. It's actually, like, look, you can see it's kind of turning into a plant. It's starting to branch off the leaves. The roots are developing and it's getting taller, which is great. The other ones, they're not doing that at all. So they might die, but at least this one will live. And if those die, maybe we'll put some papayas down there. They are tall though, and putting two next to a mango tree would be kind of a nitrogen hog. Anyways, we're going to take this lychee and work on it while we wait for the seeds to sprout. So I already got a soil pot for this lychee. It's just steer manure at the bottom and then some potting soil at the top. And yeah, like, look, it's growing leaves, real large leaves. You can eat these, by the way, the fresh ones. And like all over in the incisions that I made. I don't think any of the ones that I made after the tree was alive are sprouting, but everywhere else around it, and especially on this one branch right here and these in the back, the ones that are getting less sun, they're going crazy. But if you take a look at the bottom, no roots, and that's a no-no. We need the roots to come before the leaves if we want this thing to live. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put it in a pot. I'm gonna put a bunch of aloe vera on the bottom and on the nodules. We're gonna bury it pretty far up and soak the soil, and then we're gonna cover it up with a bag so that all the moisture stays in. Okay, so I've dug kind of a medium-sized hole. I don't want it to be too, wow, this is some soft soil. Let's put some in there. I don't want it to be too shallow because I really want to get our thing growing, but it's falling apart. So we're gonna fill this up with water. This thing's been sitting out. I probably shouldn't have let it do that, and it's getting hot. So we're gonna fill that with water. That makes it super moist and probably is gonna drain out the bottom. Dang. We want it to be kind of like a pond in here for the tree itself. So that'll keep down there moist. Probably gonna need to even put even more, because right now it's sitting in it's literally just sitting in water. That's it, nothing, no nutrients at all. So we need to soak this thing well. I still haven't been able to get rooting powder, so we're still using the old-fashioned stuff. We got some aloe vera right here, putting around the trunk. And I didn't wound or anything. There are, okay, so see down there on the side, oh, it's too dark. There are some kind of in some places where it looks like roots would like to come out. So I'm gonna put a little bit of aloe vera all around that. There's nodules, there's always gonna be nodules on trees, just all around it. And that's where we're hoping for the roots to come out. This is all an experiment, you know. We got the Logan instead of having this lychee. And we're just trying to see if we can grow it back from this, because that'd be nice, a free one. And it'd be hard to get another one for free, because I don't know that many people that grow them. Okay, so now we're gonna stick it in here pretty deep, all right? Look, it's really wet down there. Yeah, like at least, you probably wanna go deeper than that. We want as many places for roots to form as possible. So we'll stick it all the way down. there's still a little nodule for some right there for the leaves to come out. And it looks like we got a bunch of water in this bucket that I put down. So leave it like that, and I'm gonna go get some more water. Okay, so I've got a ton of water, probably too much. And we're gonna just soak this up. It's probably gonna spill most of it, just, you know, fall down into the, out the holes down there. Cause you know, you gotta have some drainage. But we want this to be flooded because that's how the tree was growing before. All right, let's get that bag. Let's get that bag over there. That should, I mean, that's probably enough. If you look down, this thing is filled up with water. This is so that it doesn't, you know, fall all on the floor. Dang, it's pretty warm. That's not good. The tree does like it warm though, especially when you're first growing it. I mean, I did put it in a car, heated cars, because we didn't have a greenhouse. All right, so there it is. Oh my goodness, the water is just draining down there. I'm gonna have to have something for it. We might want to put a little bit of moisture on the leaves too. I'll get a spray bottle or something for that. But for now, yeah, that's right. That's what we're doing. I'm gonna get some string. Here's some string. This is gonna be fun. We're just gonna wrap it around down the base. We don't want to crush the leaves. We want those leaves to stay fine. That's why we're gonna open it up a little bit around here. But just, you know, we want them to be keeping in that moisture, right? Let's pull the bag down a bit. This is delicate right here. This tree is literally just a log with a few leaves growing out of it. You gotta be careful. You wanna crush all the new leaves. So, I'm gonna leave that just for one day, just till tomorrow, and we're gonna see what it looks like after, because, you know, I don't know if it's actually gonna survive from that, or not. I don't know what it's gonna do, but we're just gonna leave it like that, and see if the leaves are totally dying, if they're just wilting over, brown or something. We'll take it off and we'll try to keep it going like that. But it's a big transition going from just being in a cup of water to going into straight soil, and that's how it is for all plants. Like this basil, it turned pretty yellow when I put it in from the water to the soil, and then like this one right there, that mint, that thing is not doing too well. It's still alive. The onions are actually doing fine, but that's only because I put some saran wrap over so that they didn't lose the moisture. I think I'll do that for the papaya seeds too. We'll try that out. Pineapple looks like it's doing okay though. Anyways, yeah, we're gonna wait. All right, it's the next morning, and looks like there's a few ladybugs left, but most of them have gone, and it looks like they're having fun eating up all the bugs out here. I don't know if there's even enough to compete with the bugs, but there's quite a few ladybugs, and you can definitely tell that there's more. Just got a pretty good tomato harvest here. A bunch of our cat face pinks were all rotting. I got one of them. This is from the other variety there. Look at how pink that is. It's literally magenta. Alright, so just a quick update. These passion fruits, I picked this one a long time ago off the vine. It was totally green. You might have seen it in, I think it was in that first edible plants episode, the ones around my property. We just picked this thing up, and on the inside, it was not formed at all. We picked another one, and they're pretty much the same. This one I saved for, I think 3 weeks or something, probably even more. And this is one that fell off, and we just let it kind of ripen for a few days. So we're going to cut this one open, and this is how it should look on the inside. Oop, nice and juicy, right? See that? It's dripping all over my desk. And it should have this kind of formed seeds, pulp. It's super juicy, and I'm gonna try some. Oh. That's good. It's a bit sour, probably because it fell off early. I would leave this to ripen. The uglier they look, the better. It just tastes so much better. But that's okay. That's a pretty good one. Just a bit underripe, but edible. Now we'll try this. This shouldn't even be formed. I don't know how it would form at all. And, yep, okay. So the seeds dried out because they weren't able to form. The skin kept growing though, which is, I guess, needs to stay on the vine for that. So yeah, that's just an update. You can't ripen them from green. You can only ripen them once they fall off the vine or they turn purple and shrivel up. Alright, so our seeds have been drying for, actually, I think it's been a day and a half. And these are the good ones. So we're just gonna put them in just like that. And I've been looking for some more, whoops, they're stuck. But looking for some more places to put papayas. And I think we might actually be able to fit two. I've been taking a lot of looking into syntropic systems, and they plant dense. I just keep learning how much denser and denser they can plant it. And the reason is because they want to plant it dense and have a bunch of trees that they can prune, because they want to be able to make tons of mulch in ground cover. Like, you just want tons of ground cover. So I think we're gonna go back in and replant a bunch of plants we don't care too much about, not really important fruit trees, just other trees, service trees, which are basically, they grow pretty fast, like maybe a wild tamarind or Albizia levick, which can compost pretty quickly. So basically what we would do is we'd get a few nitrogen fixing or service trees, say like just one right there, right next to the wall, and then one in between the Logan and the grape there, and maybe some down there. And just when they get too big, you just chop off, you prune a ton, and that literally gives you a bunch of free mulch. It just covers up the ground with all that, and that's actually really important, and it's gonna help out our farm a ton. So I don't know how we're gonna get any of these because I'm out of money, so we might just need to find some cheap ones or something. But here's another thing, like, we might not actually have to buy anything. So all these plants that we've been trying to clone, they're starting to grow. Like this apple right here I got from for free just from cutting. This one, let's see, it's been like a week. It's been like a week and a half or something, and it's already making leaves, which shows that it's still live, which means that it's probably growing roots down there. So we'll leave this for quite a while, probably pot it into a bigger pot eventually, like this, once the roots form completely in there. And yeah, that's just how we're gonna get our free plants. All these trees, and then all the grafts, all of the air layers that we did at Eli's house, and we're gonna come take those, and I think we'll plant like a guava in there or something, and that will get big very quickly, which is great because then we can chop off the leaves and the branches and turn that into mulch. So just an update on the lychee here. I took off the bag. This lychee right here, it's still alive. It's actually doing fine in this pot, and we need it to grow roots, so I'm probably gonna leave it here for a long time and try and get this thing to keep growing. But these leaves are truly doing well out here. Alright, since this is a free plants propagating episode, I thought I might as well do some Albizia levick. I've been wanting to get this in here for a while. Basically, it's a nitrogen fixing tree. So what it does is it actually helps nitrogen get into the soil, taking it out of the air through its leaves and putting it in through its roots. And you plant that, if you've ever seen like big food forests or larger sized gardens where the soil needs to have some extra nutrients, you'll see these trees, especially in syntropic farms. So we're gonna try and get, well, I'm probably gonna go out and get more, but we're gonna try and get 2 of these today. And I've never tried to propagate one of these from cuttings. So apparently you're trying to get the ones that haven't made blooms, and I already failed at that. But I just cut right below the bud, and we're just going to take most of the leaves off. Let's leave this one on, and we'll do the same thing as we normally do. We'll make that diagonal cut there, hoping for some more leaves to grow out, and we'll cut this one off right here above this bud. And we'll just do it like this. I don't know if this one is, I'm not sure if it's gonna work like this, but we're gonna try it. And I'll just scrape down there, wound the bottom a little bit. And I'm getting a lot more inspired now since our apple tree has been growing from the cutting. So I'm gonna be trying to do this with more than just fruit trees, you know, some other trees. We'll also do a Leucaena tree, Leucophilia or something. Basically, that's a tamarind tree, and not only does it grow tamarind, it also is a nitrogen fixing tree, so we're gonna want one of those. All right, I was able to do another one here, and I left 2 of the leaves on, but we cut them right here Again, we don't want the leaves to be growing. Just because leaves grow, that does not mean that it doesn't mean that the roots are growing. So we just want to save some of the moisture because, you know, this is a very green tree. Wounded the base right here, and I cut off the tip there as well. Let's do one more right here. That's an interesting formation. This is a kind of crazy looking one. You want to get it down to mostly just a stem with a bunch of nodules and maybe a few leaves at the top. You don't want it to be like this crazy sprawling all over the place. So many branch systems. By the way, I gotta get me a grafting knife or something because we're starting to do more wooded trees. And we want to make sure some of this green goes down into the soil. And let's get a little bit longer of one. We'll take the bloom off, of course, but we'll leave this part of it on and we'll see how that works. Wound it again a little bit. I'm just doing this every time because we don't have any rooting, like actual rooting hormones, so I want to make sure that our homemade one gets in. We'll leave it like that so it doesn't dry out. All right, I've got them all, well, I got my pots here, tagged them. Running out of these plastic cups, so I'm using milk jugs, which is fine. You know, it gives them more space. It does use more soil though, but I bought, I don't know if you can see. Out there's 3 giant bags of potting soil, so we should be set for a very long time. That should fuel our orchard. So right here we've got our 5 drops of apple vinegar in about half a cup of water. It's probably more than half a cup. We'll just dip them in. Let's see. So here's the short one. We'll put this guy in. Just stick them in here, and I'm hoping it will. I think it only takes about 3 weeks. About 3 weeks, and it will produce roots if we're doing this right. And I really don't know how it is with these kind of trees because I'm used to doing fruit trees, so I don't know if they're any different at all, root system wise, and just how they function. But I'm really hoping we can get some of these. If not, we're probably just gonna have to buy them because we need some nitrogen fixing plants in here just because this is such a crazy huge syntropic super dense forest. We're going to need some of that. Alright, so I got them in here in my collection, and this collection is growing like crazy. Only thing that we could tell is still alive is this apple right here, which is that's pretty cool because never grown an apple tree on this property ever. We've grown most of the citrus fruits, but never an apple tree. And the pineapple, look at that, it's nice and green down there. Ones outdoors are not doing quite that well, but this one, it built kind of a root structure while it was in the water. So yeah, anyways, I'm sorry, today we're not gonna show, I gotta film another episode. We're doing some pickling with all our cucumbers. Don't have time to wait around and wait for these to sprout up, so you'll see the results probably in a different video. And I think we're probably gonna plant a few papaya trees. I don't think we're just gonna plant one because well, I'm just learning how many plants you can actually fit in here, and I would like to fit more. But if we do put more plants, they'll probably be more like nitrogen fixing trees or just service trees that we can get a lot of mulch from, and just stuff that you can prune. We want stuff that we'll be able to prune a bunch of, because that will create free mulch for the ground. Anyways, don't know if these will grow. I'm pretty sure all the fruit trees are gonna do fine, but I've never cloned any kind of tree like this before, so this is all new for me. Anyways, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this, and we'll be doing much more cloning soon.